Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lei. If you are new here, welcome. Today I'm going to be doing this really pretty Joker, like purple and green cut crease. This was super fun to do. So yeah, you want to see how I got it? Just hold on. So I did one eye off camera. Previously, I filmed this probably in like April because you can see my nails. It was the Autism Awareness Month. And as you guys know, I was kind of like on this no filming thing for a little while, but since I have the footage, I'm going to edit it and put it up. So this is using the BPerfect XL Pro palette. I'm going to start off by priming my lids by using the P. Louise base. I did want to make this video a little bit longer, so I left in a lot of the parts where I would have like cut out how I blend and, you know, be blending in like my foundation and everything, because sometimes I think that, you know, it just makes the video too long. But I guess we'll see how this video does overall with it being a little bit longer. So I'm starting by going just in the crease area. Because I'm doing a cut crease, I already know that I'm going to be using, you know, micellar water in the crease area, on the lid area, so I really didn't want to add more color there. So here I'm going in with this first shade. I believe it's called Wasted. It's a really pretty harsh purple, like it looks like a grape purple, and I'm going to start off by carving out my cut crease area. So a good tip, makeup artist tip, I am a makeup artist. I have been a makeup artist for over 10 years now. And of course, being a makeup artist, you are always learning. The techniques are always changing. You know, you kind of have to go with the flow. One thing I have learned is, I learned this when I got my certificate, is when you are like doing an eye look, when you have the mirror up close, it's really easy to see, you know, it looks super perfect. But then move that mirror and look into a mirror that's a little further away, and then you can kind of gauge where everything is supposed to go. So I have this mirror in my hand, but I also have a mirror placed on my makeup desk, which helps me to see, you know, how it's going to look if I'm looking at other people, because let's be honest, nobody's this close in your face, right? So like I said, you're going to start off by carving out your shape, and this is when I'm using like really pigmented colors, and I want it to be super pigmented, like I want it to look like the color in the pan. So then I start by stamping it, and then after I've stamped it, I'm going to go ahead and use a fluffier brush. This is like one of the Morphe M507 brushes, and this one came in a kit, so that's why it looks like this. But then I'm going to take it with maybe just like a smidget of product on it, the same purple, and I'm going to blend out the edges. When I say like the smidget, like I kind of dip in the pan and dust it off, and then go in and blow out the edges of this purple. So now I'm going to take this ᴃ setting powder. It's just a loose setting powder. I believe this is like the translucent one, and I'm just going over the edges to help blend it out a little bit. I start by stamping that and then kind of brushing it back and forth, adding this powder before I go in with my Glam Light. will just make it so that the color isn't as pigmented because there's already a barrier there, so there's really nothing for it to stick to. So I'm just going to lightly tap into this lavender color in the Glam Light palette, and I'm going to lightly press that over the area that I already have the powder. So when you kind of see it, kind of gives it like this purple hue, like this light purple hue. And I'm just going to continue to do that all the way through until I get to the tip. Now you want to make sure that you take your time doing this, because if you go too fast, what I've noticed is you tend to if you mess up, then everything you've done in between, like before this, is just for nothing. Okay, so now I'm going in with my micellar water, and I'm going to cut my crease, and I'm going to do this very slowly. So only one side of my Q-tip has the micellar water. Now you could use micellar water, you can use, like the oil makeup remover, you can use coconut oil, you can use Vaseline, use whatever your little heart desires to help get you that cut crease. And if you use something that's oil based, and you use a Q-tip, I recommend having one end of the Q-tip dry, just so you can dry that off and kind of clean it up, because what will end up happening is that oil will smudge and it can mess up your entire look, especially when you're going to go over it with more eye base, and you really don't want the eye base to mix with the oil. So I'm just cleaning up any fallout that I may have had on my face, because right after I do my eyes, I'm going straight into face, and I don't want that to be sitting there. So I'm just using I think this is a baby wipe, honestly. So going back in with that P. Louise base, I'm taking, this is again Rumor Zero, so it's the white one, and I'm just going to trace underneath that line and create my cut crease. So this is also your time to fix any mistake that you may have made. Typically right here, when I do with the, micellar water, there really isn't anything for me to do but trace, you know what I mean? So now I'm going in with this deeper shade of green, and I'm kind of creating a winged liner, but I'm only doing the extended wing to connect it to the purple. I start off just by doing this just so I can kind of get a feel for how far I want my green to go. And then I'm going back in with this color, which is called, I think it's called the Bite or whatever. It's just right before we get to that green that I love so much, the green that is the highlight of the show. So I'm just placing that on the outside because I am going to kind of do a blown out version of that green. I didn't want it to be flat. I actually wanted it to have some dimension. So what you typically want to do is go in with a shadow that's just a little bit darker. And then we're going in with Ecstasy, which is the star of the show, my favorite color out of this palette, and I'm going to press that into my eye base. Now, what you want to make sure before you go any further is to make sure that there are no creases in the base, because if there are creases, there will be creases in your shadow. So I'm trying to make sure that I press the shadow into the base as much as possible so that there isn't any creasing, because there can be creasing. And then I'm also trying to make sure that I get up to that line. So I'm using a Sephora, it's like an eyeshadow brush, it's a flat eyeshadow brush. I will have it in the description. But I'm using that to make sure that I get up onto that crease and over. So just take your time doing this, because again, you're almost done the eye portion, and a mistake now would mean that you would have to take it all off and do it over, at least for me. I know some people will be like, oh, finesse it. Not me. I'm pissed, and now my entire group is gone. So I'm going back in with that green, and I'm just blowing out the edges. And then I'm going to take the darker green and do the same thing, just to kind of make it more cohesive and, make more sense so that it's not just green and then purple. So there's a little transition there. And I'm just taking my brush so that everything blends in together. It looks pretty good to me. in my opinion. So now you can go ahead and curl your lashes and add mascara. I am using this Essence What the Fake eyelashes. This one has microfibers and it's supposed to be really voluminous. I've worn this without any makeup. Like a makeup look like this really isn't going to do anything. But if you're going for like a more neutral makeup look, this is a really good mascara for that. But you know, since I am doing glamour, I went in with my chocolate taco lashes. I said chocolate taco lashes by Glamlight, and I'm gonna add these just to, you know, gotta give it a little more pizzazz, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it looks like. I love it. So I'm going in with this Hard Candy Hydrating Primer. This is a 12-hour makeup primer. What I love about this primer is it kind of has like a tacky feel afterwards. I've really been into my drugstore products. I feel like I'm the new drugstore queen because most of my makeup is either affordable or drugstore. So this one is by Hard Candy. You can get it at Walmart. I've never really seen it anywhere other than Walmart. I think it might be exclusive to Walmart. I hate Walmart, but I will definitely go in there for this primer. So this primer leaves like a sticky feel. If you have larger pores, I would suggest putting like a pore minimizing primer on first and then adding this, because the tacky layer is what's going to adhere to your makeup. I just love it. So I got a new Juno sponge. I love these sponges. I think they sell them at Target now. I got a pink and another purple one from Target, so I didn't have to wait, which y'all know I love. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my concealer. I've been liking to wear my concealer not necessarily underneath, but like I've been putting it on before my foundation. It really doesn't matter. You can, you know, do what you want, but I'm using a concealer that's really close to my skin tone. And honestly, after adding this concealer and, you know, my bronzer and blush, I really didn't have to add foundation, but I did. But I'm saying, like, you know, you don't have to. So same bronzer I've been using. This is the foundation. It's called Sokoto by Juvia's Place. And then for my blush, I'm using Nude Rose by Milani. It's a lipstick, a really pretty lipstick at that. And I'm gonna blend all those together using the sponge and 2 brushes. So now on top of that, I'm going in with my NYX Total Control Pro. The color shade will be in the description box below. I'm adding that to my face, and I added too much. Like, this is like a full coverage foundation in a dropper. Like, I'm thinking that it's going to be more like, you know, like a liquid foundation, which is more like light to medium, but this was definitely full coverage because I feel like it kind of went over my blush and bronzer and kind of washed me out a little bit, and that wasn't my intention. Mind you, it's a great foundation, but definitely not it's not a lightweight foundation. I think this method works when like the foundation is really light, but as you can see, this foundation is pretty full coverage. Like it's covering almost everything. So I suggest doing this with like a lighter foundation, like a lighter coverage foundation. I kind of went around it and then tried to use the Beauty Blender to go over it, but again, yeah. And I know when you get to like my forehead, it looks like it doesn't match, but like look at my shoulders and my chin, it matches there. It's just, you know, my forehead gets more sun, so it just looks a lot darker than everything else. So But don't worry, I'm going to fix that with more bronzer. So you can see I added more dots because I had to add more bronzer. And I'm gonna end up blending that out using the same brush. It's an e.l.f. brush, that's an angled brush. And I think it's specifically made for, you know, bronzer. But yeah, so I use that to blend it out, and I'm also gonna blend out my nose area. I kind of cut out the way of I kind of cut out when I blend out my bronzer again, because again, it's again. How many times can I say again? It would be me blending it out once again. So y'all saw how I did that. But this is just me doing my nose. So now I'm going to set everything using this Morphe Bake and Set setting powder. This is in the shade Banana. I have been loving this powder a lot. I've been loving like the yellow toned powders. What I've noticed has helped me out by taking my brush and pressing the powder into the concealer, all the areas that I have concealed. This just helps to ensure that it's nice and sealed. Now, if you're going to bake, which you don't have to, if you're going to bake, try to do it with like a beauty blender or a beauty puff. I use my brush just being lazy right here, but I wouldn't recommend doing it that way because it can get really messy. So right here, I'm just patting the product into my eye, and then I'm going to end up, you know, baking underneath. I do like a little triangle just because I like that highlighted look. And then I'm also going to set underneath my chin, my forehead area, around my nose, you know, that mustache area. I think at this point I was supposed to wax my mustache and I hadn't. So now I'm adding a little bit to underneath, you know, my contour area just to make it a little more sharp because that's what I was going for. And now I'm using this LA Girl liner. Y'all saw my haul. Y'all saw when I bought this. This is like a neon green one. I want to say it's called Daisy, but I know it's not called Daisy, but the name for it will be in the description box. And it's probably already on my Instagram because I have posted this picture because I love this look so much. So go ahead and check it out. I'm trying to get back into the whole swing of posting again. Like I said before in my last video, I have been feeling really discouraged as far as posting my videos go, but I'm going to, you know, pick myself up and try again, try some more. So back in with that same purple, that grape purple that I have on my upper lash line, I believe it's called Wasted. I'm going to tight line underneath my eyes because I definitely wanted that contrast between the green and the purple. I kind of like that, like when you have the green and the purple on your lid and then you do that contrast at the bottom. The purple on the lower lash line makes it so that you can really see that green popping out on my lower lash line. In my opinion, that's just me. So I did just kind of like pull it out a little bit to kind of make it a little more pointed and elongate my eyes. That part's not necessary, I just liked it. So now I'm dusting away my baked powder using this Real Techniques brush. I can't remember the name of the brush, but it's one of my Real Technique brushes. And then I'm going to add some mascara to my lower lash line. You can add lashes if you want to. It would have looked really nice with this look, but I just chose not to. So I'm using this, I believe this is Benefits powder foundation to set the rest of my face, and then I'm going in with my Makeup Revolution matte bronzer in the shade Medium, and I'm just tapping that across my forehead just to kind of bring that depth in. Also, I didn't want to mess up my edges. You know, I've been working on my edge work, and I'm very proud of it, so I wanted to make sure I didn't mess that up. So the tapping motion gives you like a more natural flushed look. And yeah, so I also did that on my cheeks, but I really wanted to primarily focus on my forehead. For my cheeks, I'm going in with this Milani Rose Blush, and I'm going to add that to the tops of my cheek. This is a Glam Light blush brush. It's actually one of my favorites. And then for highlighter, I'm going in with this center color out of the BPerfect LX Pro palette. So this is the same palette that I use for my eyes, and it has 3 highlights in it, so I just used the one in the middle. All of that will be down in the description. Yeah. And I know it will because I've already typed it out. Go me. So I'm putting this on the bridge of my nose. I love that little tip thing. That'll never go out of style for me. And I'm setting the rest of my face using my Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. I like the original. They have other ones, but yeah, this is just my jam. For my lips, I lined my lips with Toastier by Morphe. I actually really love the Morphe lip liners. They do put me in the same mind frame as my MAC lip liners. Like, I really feel like they have, I've been using drugstore, like I haven't even really been using like my MAC lipsticks, lip liners like that. Like Cork used to be my jam. I haven't used it in like 2 years. So yeah, that just goes to show you don't have to spend $18 on a lip liner. So I'm tight lining my lips, you know, just regular. And I'm going in with this Madison Beer lipstick. It was a collaboration with Morphe. I don't know who she is, and I don't think I want to know, but I mean, this color was really pretty. This is the shade Mars. It's a really pretty, like, pigmented gloss. So, I mean, it's not as glossy as I would have liked it to be, but you can always, you know, add some more gloss if you want to. So, yeah. So that completes this look. I really hope you all enjoyed. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, beauties, stay blessed.